Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to World of Tanks here. Gonna do another review this time of everyone's favourite little monster at tier 3, which is Das Panzer Kampfwagen 3, or Panzerkampfwagen 2 J. I completely forgot my German right there. First I said 3, then I said 1, now I've gone to 2, so it's the Panzerkampfwagen 3 J. But in plain English it's the Panzer II J. It's the Tank 2J, which is everyone's favourite little monster tier 3. So our little monster here is a very, very rare tank, and with good reason. I mean, these things can go for like £250 on eBay. You know, like a account redeem code, because the Panzer II J, the BTSV, and 2 other tanks were only given away with Russian box sets of World of Tanks, which means that this thing is a very, very rare tank along with the BTSV. And well, they do sell it occasionally, but often, well, basically all the time, you actually buy a pack of gold, and then you also get the Panzer II J with it as a bonus, which they say bonus, but really you're just buying the tank and getting some gold free. But anyway, so yeah, I got the Panzer II J. I got it for my platoon mate A1 Thomas. It hurts to think about it. I'm like in pain physically right now. However, it's a Panzer II J. I mean, look at this thing. It's a little monster. I mean, it's just strange how wide it is. I mean, there's the Rob tractor. It's the same width as a Rob tractor. I mean, it just looks very odd due to the fact. I think it looks very odd because you've got the hull. The hull is in line with the turret. However, you've got these massive tracks that stick out, and one of the known weaknesses of the Panzer II J is that you can easily track it due to the size of the track. However, if we bring out the Panzer II here, there's the Panzer II. That looks fine. That looks more compact than the 2J. There's the 2J. The 2J is massively wide. I mean, the Panzer II, in and of itself, is about just wider than the Panzer II J body. I mean, it's just a very odd-looking tank to me. But anyway, so the Panzer II J, let's start going over it. So, well, 260 HP is a fair amount of HP for Tier 3. I mean, let's have a look at other Tier 3 tanks. You've got the Toldy 3, which has got 230. You've got the Panzer S35, which has got 260. You've got the Grobtraktor Krupp, which has got 320. That's more than the M3 Lee. The Lee is a Tier 4 medium. This is a Tier 3 medium. And it's got more HP than the Lee, but then that's not saying much. The Lee is terrible. But anyway, T70, 230, BT7 artillery, 220, M3 light I think is also 220. Yes, it is. So it's got a lot of health for Tier 3. 260 HP is a lot. Speaking of a lot, let's have a look at the armour. So the armour, 80 at the front of the hull, 50 at the side and rear of the hull. It's got more than a French tank, and a French tank at the low tiers is a heavily armoured thing. Let's actually have a look at the French tanks at Tier 3. Well, you've got the AMX-38. Let's have a look at this vehicle details. Only 60. Oh, it's only 60. Oh, that's cute. You got the D2, which has got 40. Oh dear. That's half of what the 2J has. The Somya, which is just odd. I don't really like the Somya. I thought I would, but no. Let's compare it to something else, such as the KV-1. Let's have a look. Vehicle details. 75. The Panzer II J has got more frontal hull than a Tier 5 heavy. Hasn't got more turret armour, but it's close. It's only 10mm off. No, the upgraded turret has got 110. Okay, yeah, that's 110. But the stock KV-1 turret, that's 90. That's only 10 off of the 2J. And the 2J is Tier 3. And it has more armour than a Tier 5 heavy tank. So I think it's safe to say that the 2J is fairly well armoured for Tier 3. There are several tanks at Tier 3 that can easily penetrate your sides. For example, this little bugger is a thing to watch out for because with its gun it has got 75 average penetration. That can almost get through your frontal hull armour. I can almost get through your frontal armour. Not quite, but it almost can. Mainly the things that you need to watch out for are high explosive shooting vehicles such as the Grub Tractor, the BT-7 artillery, or even people just resorting to high explosive as a last ditch attempt to try and damage you. But actually, let's have a look. There's one tank which you really need to be careful of if it gets close to you. And that is this, the Panzer II J. Because the Panzer II J gets a 30mm autocannon, and this 30mm autocannon's got almost 100mm of penetration. The 30mm autocannon is a very bad thing for you to be going against because is less than the 95 penetration that it gets, even more with APCR. So yeah, Panzer II J's 30mm autocannons are things that you need to watch out for. So the 2J also sees tier 4s, and that will become a very big problem when you get to the gun. But for now, the armour is I think at least decent for tier 3. However, that armour comes at a cost. It weighs 80.2 tons. 80 tons, what? No, 18.2 tons with an 18.9 load limit, so I fitted a couple of equipment things, but it only gets a 160 horsepower engine. This is the engine that it gets. It gets a Maybach HL45P with a 20% chance of firing impact, but still 160 engine horsepower, which means that you only have an 8.77 horsepower per ton ratio, which means that you crawl uphill. I mean, this is not a fast tank. Plus, with only a 31 km/h top speed, you're not going to be getting to the front lines fast. However, there will still be lots of things for you to shoot at because it's tier 3. People will be not really paying attention or understanding much, so there'll be a big firefight going on and all that, so you'll be able to get to the front lines. But yeah, so 31 km/h is not good. 12 reverse speed, yeah, it's pretty poor. The traverse speed as well, hull traverse, only 35.1. Traverse, 32 degrees per second traverse speed even. This is with 100% crew and vent, so yeah, 35.1 traverse speed is not good, really. This is not a particularly mobile tank, even though mobility is actually one of the best things of this tank. It's the third highest, so yeah. But then that's not surprising to looking at these things. But just to compare, 23 survivability compared to 16, 5, 6, 10, 23. It's a big jump at tier 3. But anyway, so let's have a look at concealment. It's got a 20.4 concealment when stationary, 16.1 for when it's moving, compared to something like the T70, which has got the same, the Grub Tractor, which has got less, the Toldy, which has got more, the S35, which has got less, BT7, which has got less, the M3 Lite, which has got less. So, amazingly, this thing is actually fairly well concealed at tier 3. I mean, that is very odd. But then again, you won't be sitting still because you're a 2J. 2Js don't sit still. They push forwards. They're the armoured spearhead of your team, basically. If you have one of these on your team, then you're the armoured spearhead. You sort of automatically get bumped to that position. But you can do fairly well spotting, sort of. I mean, 327 meters view range compared to the 276 of the Toldy, the 340. 341, 337, 270, and 315. So, I mean, oh dear, they're all speaking Polish or something. Oh dear. But anyway, so you have the same sort of view range as other tier 3 tanks. So, I mean, you'll be spotting anything as well as anyone else. So, I mean, if you want to sit in a bush, then you can do that. But signal range is not good. This is the radio it gets. It gets a Fug 6 radio, 345 signal range. Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, the radio is not great. I'm raising it with signal boosting, but still not a great radio. It's the same as what's on the Grob Tractor. The Grob Tractor does not have a good radio, so yeah. But all that is irrelevant if you can't kill things, and well, you can't really kill things in the 2J. You have pretty good gun depression elevation, minus 10 and 20. I mean, that's decent, but the gun isn't decent. 20mm gun, 10 shells in the magazine, 0.13 load time for loading of 1 shell clip of 2, 3 to actually load the entire magazine. So okay, so far it's looking fairly normal to a 2cm autocannon. Let's get up the gun on the Panzer II, shall we? Or we'll get it in preparation. 23 average penetration with 46 with APCR. 46 is still not good for tier 3. There are many tier 3s that have got more penetration than that with their standard ammo, and you're firing APCR. This tank does not kill things particularly well without APCR. However, you can do well without it, as you shall see. But yeah, so 23-46, not good at all. 11 average damage, yeah, 2cm autocannon. Horrible dispersion, 0.57. But a very good aim time of 1.4 seconds. So, yeah, compared to something like this, the 2cm flank, which has got 20, 10, 0.13, 3.9. Okay, so it doesn't reload the entire magazine as fast as the Panzer II J, but 39 average penetration. That's pretty good for tier 2. That's a pretty good penetration. I mean, I love the Panzer II, and the gun is just great on it. 51 with APCR, so using APCR with this gun, you can just about get through the side and rear of a Panzer II J. It has got better dispersion, slightly worse aim time, but still 1.6 is still pretty good. And I mean, the gun that it gets here, the Kampfwagen Cannon 38, is the same as this gun basically. The only difference between the 2J and the Panzer II, well, and the standard tech tree version of the same gun is that the Panzer II J gets a better complete load time and it gets a better aim time. Other than that, it's exactly the same. And just to compare it to a terrible tank at tier 2, the Panzer II D. Here's the gun that the 2D gets. It gets a Kampfwagen Cannon 30. I mean, the 2D gets the same average penetration, and even at tier 2 that penetration isn't good, and you're doing it in tier 3. So, yeah, but the only difference between the 2D and the 2J is that the 2D has got a longer reload. That's the only difference because, well, 0.21, 0.13, 4.2, 3, I mean, those are the only differences. But even so, the 2J does not have a good gun at all. If we switch back to the 2J here. So, there we go. 1.37 aim time, 0.56 dispersion. Oh, terrible. The turret reverses fairly well though. 40 degrees per second turret traverse. I mean, that's pretty good. 150 rate of fire, average DPM of 1,645 if you penetrate, which is not guaranteed. It's far from guaranteed. But yeah, the gun depression / elevation is pretty good. But yeah, the gun is really what lets down the 2J, because if the 2J had a decent gun, even if it had the 2cm flak that the Panzer II gets, that would still be an upgrade. And if it did have something like that, it would be pretty OP. I mean, it's already OP, but I mean seriously, it would be OI level of OP at tier 3. I mean, the OI is just broken, but this tank is almost broken at tier 3. But, well, I've gone with a full seal clubbing loadout. I've gone premium consumables, because why not? I just thought, you know what, screw it. I have all these, I'm never going to use them. Bung them on the 2J. So the 2J has got premium repair kit, premium first aid kit, premium fire extinguisher. Why not? So there we go. Loaded it up, full seal clubbing. I decided to go half and half because you do need APCR to get through some things at tier 3 and basically everything at tier 4. But for beating up tier 2s and some tier 3s, 2cm AP will do just fine. But per shot, it costs 1 gold, so it only costs 200 gold to actually load this thing up full with APCR. But yeah, after you fire a couple of rounds of this stuff, you will lose your credit income. I mean, you can make 10,000 credits if you play with just AP, which is possible. I have done it. I do have a particularly good replay of me doing it. But yeah, people say you never run a profit on the 2J. You can, but if you want to seal club, you have to load up APCR. So I mean, yeah. I load half and half just so that I do have AP and then some APCR as backup. So anyway, moving on to the equipment. So I've gone improved vents because there is no gunner armour, and I've also gone with a light spall liner because, well, it's a Panzer II J. Panzer II J, spall liner, whack that on there, artillery bounces. Artillery actually does bounce off of you, that's the funny thing. Artillery can bounce off you with a light spall liner, so there you go, spall liner, improved vents, wonderful. Camonet, binos, no, you don't have A, the accuracy, or B, the speed to be stationary. Plus you have all of that armour, you may as well use it at the front lines, so I mean, you know, don't go with those two. If you want to go to boost your view range, go with coated optics. You don't need the enhanced gun lane drive. This is a blisteringly quickly aiming gun, but that's due to the terrible dispersion. So you don't need that. Suspension, enhanced torsion bar suspension, you'll only want for the durability, really. I mean, if you want to, then you could get it for the load capacity, but I mean, yeah, I mean, you'd mostly want it for the suspension durability. You're not going to be ramming things unless people ram into you. So if you want the suspension durability so that you don't have your tracks blown off so easily, then sure, go for it, but I think it's just a waste of 100,000 credits. Then you've got a toolbox because, you know, OP. Why not? And now we come to the crew. Look at this guy. He's so happy that he's in the 2J. He's just like, I am the safest loader in the world. I am the safest loader in the world. I am in a Panzer II J. I am the safest man alive. However, this man just wants to get things done. Look at him. Well, he's got the German determination. He will serve the fatherland proud. But so he also counts as the gunner as well as your commander. So I'm training him Sixth Sense. Don't know why, because I'm a Panzer II J. But hey ho, I've gone with that. Deadeye would probably be more useful, but. Snapshot, you could do if people want to try and circle you, which they will to get around your weaker side armour. So, I mean, snapshot you might want. Deadeye, yeah, go with it. If you do penetrate, then you'll want to get that. Then you'll want to get the improved, you know, the improved chance to damage enemy modules. So, yeah, there you go. Go with Deadeye. Armourer, you could do. But then again, you're horribly inaccurate anyway. I doubt a little less inaccurate will really help, or a little more inaccurate, I should say. Designate target you could do. Eagle Eye as well is also always a useful thing, especially with Deadeye, so you can see the hate that is being just wreaked at you from all of those modules that you're damaging. Jack of all trades you could go with. Recon, yeah, sure, go ahead and put that on. Mentor, I don't see the point, and then you've got your common skills. Brothers in Arms, I reckon, will definitely serve your crew well. Then you've got this man who also looks like he's seen some stuff. He's served the fatherland already, and he's seen some things, but he also shall serve the fatherland well. So I'm training him in clutch braking because 30, what did I say it was? 32 base traverse, not good at all. So go ahead, clutch braking, that's what I'm training. Then I'll want off-road driving because you're terribly slow anyway. You'll want to keep as quick as you can, so off-road driving, yeah, gonna go and do that. Smooth ride, no. 0.57 accuracy. You're inaccurate when stationary. On the move, even worse, so don't bother with that. Preventive maintenance in case you keep getting set on fire. Controlled impact you don't need because you're not going to be ramming things in a Panzer II J, you don't have the speed. And then you've got your common skills, once again, Brothers in Arms. Then finally, you've got your loader / radio operator, and he just looks so happy to be in a Panzer II J. So I'm training him in signal boosting because that's a terrible radio range. Then safe stowage in case your ammo rack keeps getting damaged somehow if they manage to penetrate. Then you've got adrenaline rush, which is always useful at tier 3. That's if you get penetrated. Then you've got intuition, because I can understand switching between AP and APCR, but mostly people with a Panzer II J just tend to fight just APCR. So hey ho, but still I'm playing it with AP. It sort of works. So I mean, sure, if you want intuition. Then you've got your your radio operator perks. So once again, signal boosting, definitely go with that. Then if you want relay, situational awareness is always useful, and call for vengeance if you want. Then you've got your common skills. So overall, is this a good tank? What do you think? Of course it is. 80 frontal hull at tier 2. At tier 3, sorry. At tier 2, God. But at tier 3, no, at tier 3, that's a lot of hull armor. That's very good hull armor. Side 50, rear 50, weaker, but still more than a French tank, really. The only French tank that beats this at tier 3 is the AMX-38, and that's only at the front. And we're talking about the size of rear here. And it's all over the front of the turret as well. I mean, it's 80 frontal turret, 50 side and rear turret armor. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that. It has a large HP pool. It has lots of armor, but the gun is what lets it down. But then again, you can understand that, because otherwise this would be slightly too OP. So, should you get this? Yes, if you can. It's the most seal clubbing tank of all seal clubbing tanks. I mean, you thought the T-18 was a seal clubbing tank. As a good player who knows about the weak spots of the T-18 can tear you to shreds if you miss. I mean, he will play a game with your T-18 and you will lose. That's before the T-18 got turned into artillery. But when the T-18 was still a tank destroyer, I used to hate it. But now, I know where to shoot the T-18 to do damage. So they're not really a problem. Unless they, howitzer you, luckily. But, a good player would be able to kill off a T-18. Doesn't matter how good you are. When you're facing a 2J, you have to be lucky. You have to be lucky to get around the sides and rear of the tank to do damage. Either that or you just load some gold. But who carries around gold at tier 2 and 3? I mean, come on, who does that? But if you can get this, definitely. It will hurt to get it, but once you've got it, you don't have to worry about getting it from then on. So, yeah, it's a good tank. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye.